The air crackled with an energy unseen for centuries. Oak Island, a name synonymous with mystery, with endless searching, with dashed hopes and renewed determination. But today, June 2nd, 2025, everything changed. The treasure, long a legend, was finally real. It was no longer a myth whispered by hopefuls. It was tangible, held and witnessed. The world held its breath, waiting for this moment. For generations, people had doubted. They called it a fool's errand, a wild goose chase. Yet the Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, never wavered. Their team, a band of dedicated believers, pushed on. They faced setbacks. They endured the island's legendary curse. But their resolve, like the ancient oak trees, stood firm. Now their faith, their relentless effort, had paid off. The discovery sent shockwaves across the globe. Imagine the scene. Mud-caked hands trembling, eyes wide with disbelief, then dawning realization. The object or objects pulled from the earth, gleaming under the harsh lights of the excavation. The Oak Island treasure was no longer a question. The History Channel. For years they chronicled the struggle. The curse of Oak Island became a global phenomenon. Viewers tuned in week after week. They shared the frustrations, the small victories. They became part of the extended Oak Island family, so when the news broke, the confirmation had to be official. It had to come from the source that brought the story home, and it did, with resounding clarity. The network confirmed the monumental find. A special broadcast was hastily arranged, interviews with Rick and Marty Lagina, footage raw and emotional from the moment of discovery. Experts, initially skeptical, now offered their astonished validation. The History Channel didn't just report the news. They had been embedded in this search for over a decade. Their cameras had captured the grit, the science, the hope. This confirmation was not just a news flash. It was the climax of a story they helped tell. A story that captivated millions around the world. The announcement sent social media into a frenzy. #OakIslandFound trended globally within minutes. Forums and fan pages exploded with discussion. Skeptics were silenced, or at least stunned into quiet contemplation. Believers celebrated, their long-held faith vindicated. The History Channel's meticulous documentation over the years. This wasn't hearsay. The Oak Island mystery began innocently enough. In 1795, 3 teenage boys discovered something. A circular depression in the ground. An old tackle block hanging from a tree branch above it. This was the birth of the Money Pit legend. Daniel McGuinness, John Smith and Anthony Vaughan. Their curiosity sparked a search that would span generations. They dug, finding layers of oak logs every 10 feet, and then a stone inscribed with strange symbols. A mystery that would only deepen with time. Over the next 2 centuries, countless lives were touched, fortunes were spent and sometimes lost. The Onslow Company, the Truro Company. Group after group tried their luck, their engineering. They faced flooding, booby traps and tantalizing clues. The island seemed to fight back, protecting whatever lay hidden beneath its surface. Stories of pirate treasure, Templar gold, Shakespearean manuscripts, even the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. The theories were as varied as the searchers themselves. The infamous curse added another layer of dread. 7 must die before the treasure is found. By the time the Laginas arrived, 6 had perished. This grim prophecy loomed over every effort, yet it did not deter the determined. Men like Franklin D. Roosevelt were fascinated. Even he participated in early exploration efforts. For years, water was the enemy on Oak Island. It flooded tunnels, it collapsed shafts. It seemed to mock every effort to reach the prize. But what if water also held the key? The Lagina team pondered this deeply. They began to see water not just as an obstacle, but as a pathway, a messenger. This shift in perspective was revolutionary. The island's complex hydrology needed to be understood, not just fought against, but listened to. Recent advancements in technology played a huge role. Dye tests traced underground water flows, ground-penetrating radar saw beneath the muck. These tools allowed the team to see the unseen. They mapped the intricate network of waterways, Smith's Cove, with its box drains. The swamp became an area of intense focus. Water began to reveal its secrets. It was a slow, methodical process of listening, one of the most significant discoveries, identifying the true source of the flood tunnels. For decades, searchers believed they knew, but new data suggested a more complex system, perhaps even multiple sources, cleverly disguised. By understanding how the water entered, they could predict its behavior. This allowed for more strategic drilling and excavation. Section 5. Decoding the depths, how water led the way. The Garden Shaft, a modern marvel of engineering. It was designed to bypass the flood tunnels to reach the depths where treasure was believed to lie. But even here, water was the critical factor. Understanding the water table, the pressure, the flow, this was paramount to its success. The team pumped incredible amounts of water. They used freezing techniques to stabilize the surrounding soil. All of this was a battle against and with water. The shaft became a beacon of hope. Further investigation in the swamp yielded incredible results. Using advanced coring technology, the team discovered an ancient, stone-paved pathway submerged beneath layers of sediment. This pathway seemed to lead towards the Money Pit area. Why build a road in a swamp, unless it was dry land when the depositors were there, or it was meant for transporting something heavy? Section 6. Years under pressure, the unwavering quest. The Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, bought a controlling interest in Oak Island Tours, Inc. This was back in 2006. Their childhood dream was now a tangible, daunting reality. They brought a new approach, a blend of historical research, modern science and sheer grit. But the island did not yield its secrets easily. The pressure was immense, from investors, from the viewing public, from history itself, and of course from the ticking clock of the supposed curse. Their resolve was tested daily. Each season of the Curse of Oak Island documented this struggle. The small finds, a Spanish coin, a lead cross, coconut fibre, these were tantalizing breadcrumbs. They fueled hope when progress seemed impossible. The team faced engineering nightmares, collapsing boreholes, equipment failures, the unpredictable Nova Scotian weather, and the constant, ever-present water. Yet they returned year after year. Their dedication became legendary in itself. Think of the sheer financial investment, millions of dollars poured into the search. Section 7. A new chapter in history. Significance of the find. The confirmation of the Oak Island treasure is monumental. It's not just about the monetary value, though that may be immense. It's about rewriting a piece of North American history. For centuries, the island has been a canvas for speculation. Pirates, Templars, Vikings, Francis Bacon, who had the resources, the ingenuity, the motive to create such an elaborate hiding place. The nature of the treasure itself will provide crucial clues: its origin, its age, its cultural context. These will begin to answer those long-standing questions. This discovery will undoubtedly spark a new wave of research. Historians, archaeologists, cryptographers, engineers, all will converge on the data, the artifacts. If it's Templar-related, it could reshape our understanding of their activities after the suppression in 1307. Section 8. Beyond the discovery, future riddles and revelations. The treasure has been found. But the Oak Island story is far from over. In many ways, it is just beginning. The initial discovery is like opening a door to a room filled with more questions. What is the full extent of the treasure? Is there more hidden in other parts of the island? The complex tunnel systems suggest multiple deposit points, or perhaps decoy locations. The true scale of the Oak Island operation remains to be seen. The conservation and study of the artifacts will be a massive undertaking, years, possibly decades of meticulous work. Each item must be carefully preserved, analysed and catalogued. What stories will these objects tell? Will they bear inscriptions, symbols or markings that could definitively identify their owners or creators? The world will be watching as these details emerge. Each revelation will add another layer to the legend and perhaps solve some of its deepest riddles. What about the other mysteries of Oak Island? Nolan's Cross, a formation of large boulders, the 90-foot stone with its cryptic inscription, the U-shaped structure in Smith's Cove.